usually I think that narrations of documentaries, narrations of various kinds of commercials, and I think that audiobooks, reading from books, these are things I think are my forte. I could do radio. Radio would be lovely. I think I'm pretty versatile in doing some of these things. It helps, of course, obviously being an actor myself. So but it's a very interesting phenomenon, as I'm sure you know as well, Mike, to actually be acting in front of a microphone. You're not in front of a camera, and you're not in front of people, so it's always a bit of a challenge to do that when one is just dealing with a recording studio and a microphone. But it's something I embrace and enjoy, and I look forward to doing more of it.
It sounds like a great program as well, too. And, of course, we talked about your biggest influences in acting, and who's your biggest influences, would you say, for radio, if you continually pursued it, or voiceover?
You know, this is going to be a little bit interesting because I used to like Shadow Stevens.
Oh, he's fantastic.
And, yeah, Shadow Stevens. And if we go a little further back, there was another guy who was really quite the character, Wolfman Jack.
Oh, hey, Wolfman, clap for the Wolfman.
Yeah, Wolfman Jack. I remember Wolfman Jack. So, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. In movies, and I caught a little bit on radio when I was in California, San Diego. Oh, my goodness. He was the bomb.
Wasn't he great?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love Wolfman Jack. Yeah, he was great. He was great. And unfortunately, he's left us, but the guy was just really fantastic. And really, those are the two, for me, that really stand out. Yeah.
And also, too, with today's radio personalities, who would you say would be up there in the ranks, and what's your thoughts on today's radio right now?
Well, Mike, I don't really listen to much radio, so I can't really name anybody. I just sort of am thinking of the voices that really have stood out to me over time, and really, for me, it hasn't gotten any better than Shadow Stevens and Wolfman Jack. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you're looking at as well, too. And, of course, like to talk about your other venture as well, too, that you're in a bit as well, too. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Mention The Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. And if you're looking for professional budget without breaking a budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today 1-800-303-3960 or email support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. Also, check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can also listen and download and listen live on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Miles Jonn-Dalton's my special guest, and he was on previously. Talked about Dreams of Darkness and many other ventures, along with his brand new company as well, too, Cinefilm Transinternational. Try saying that 10 times fast, by the way. And don't cheat with coffee, by the way. And use auto-tune or anything else. So you got to have that. So, and of course, he have been a radio personality. He's done voiceover work. He's got some projects going on. And another thing you've done as well, too, is a little bit of modeling. Maybe you can tell us all about that, especially being a football player playing for the Miami Dolphins.
Well, I wasn't a football player for the Miami Dolphins, but I had a brief foray into playing arena football for 1 year. Yeah.
Interesting.
It was arena football with the Milwaukee Mustangs, and I was just a walk-on tryout, and it was very enjoyable. I'm a very athletic guy, and I've been playing football ever since I was a boy. So it was a brief foray into doing it, and it was very enjoyable. But basically, show business was calling, and I wanted to get back into doing more things regarding movies, and so I had my brief fix of being a football player. Yeah.
And what position did you play? Mind if we ask you?
Not at all. I could do a variety of positions. I was a good quarterback. I was a good wide receiver, and I was a good fullback. And on defense, I was a very good linebacker. I could play linebacker. So, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And then what year did you play for the Milwaukee Mustangs, and how did they do in the regular season?
Oh, this was early 90s, this was. And we did, it wasn't the best year, we just broke even. And so it was just, we didn't go very far, but so it was a transition year for them. So, but it was a hell of a lot of fun, Mike, and I didn't have what it takes at that time to be in the NFL, and very few people do. But I loved it, and so that was my excursion into being a football player. And as far as modeling, I did various things in Milan and Rome, and it was mainly print work and magazines, and nothing too high end as far as doing the catwalk and things like that. And so it was modest, but it was very interesting. It's not something that I wanted to do exclusively, and so I was doing that alongside in having small roles in European movies. And so it was very interesting to experience all these things. And, one goes to these things, and then over time you formulate more of what you really want to do. And you see, well, I tried this, I tried that, I did this, and this was okay, that was okay, but I really want to do this. And so it was really invaluable experience for me. And so it was, I had that fix being a model as well, but really being I'm most passionate about acting and being a producer and making my own movies. And so this is where it leads me.
And speaking of acting, producing, directing, are you open to any other genres like comedy, drama, country western, or anything else like that along those lines?
Well, as an audience member, I like those genres, watching them. I think that from a business standpoint, those kinds of movies only really do well financially is if one has really big names in them and you have really excellent worldwide distribution. Comedies really don't do well from a business standpoint unless you've got a huge name in it.
Mm-hmm.
So from a business standpoint, I'm really only interested in doing things that I know will have some degree of success internationally.
Okay.
So I really, the supernatural thriller, the supernatural erotic thriller is a really tried and true format and genre. So it's just one of these things where I see actors say, this is where my producer's hat comes on too. Where I have to think like a businessman. And so one considers these things, as far as what's going to do best from a business standpoint. So, but I mean, as far as being a lover of movies, I like all different kinds of genres.
Okay. Yeah. And what would you say your top 5 favorite movies would be?
Good question. There are many.
Or ones that stand out you think it's best.
I'll name some, and they're not necessarily ranked in this order. There is, number one, I love Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
I love a very obscure movie with Burt Lancaster called The Swimmer. It's from the mid-'60s, and it's a very, very different kind of movie. That made a big impression on me. I love the Russian director Andrei Tarkovsky's movie, Nostalgia, is excellent. I'm a big fan of Sophia Loren, so I've got to mention Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow.
Nice. That's a very nice film.
Yeah. And I'm an enormous fan of hers, so I've seen many of her movies. And I like Ingmar Bergman's Hour of the Wolf is amazing. I have to say too, as far as Hollywood fair, I love Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, Newman and Redford, and so this is really some of my. That's just a small sampling of a lot of the movies, and I love. I mean, I have to say, it goes without saying, all the Hammer horror movies and Frank, and also the Universal Frankenstein, Dracula, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, House of Dracula. It doesn't get any better than that for me. Really fantastic.
It sounds like it too. You mentioned Sophia Loren as one of your favorite actresses, but how about your favorite actors as well too, and who influenced you in your career?
I have to say that, again, lots of classic Hollywood actors from the golden age of Hollywood. Bob Mitchum, Burt Lancaster, my great uncle Carl Malden, Monty Clift, Richard Burton, Peter O'Toole, Richard Harris, and lots of European actors like Alain Delon and people like that, just really from a different era. I think that basically these people are the ones that really were the groundbreakers in cinema. And everybody now is just standing on the shoulders of giants, these giants, in my opinion. And you just have to watch these people and you learn everything about good, really excellent cinematic acting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it does sound amazing, too. Just a couple of minutes left. We know you're a very busy man. And, of course, you can just if someone were to ask you for some advice, what would you give them? Best advice.
Yeah, that's the perennial question, isn't it? I would say that it's an extremely difficult business. And my advice to anybody is to try to do things in which you can really be in a position to control your own destiny. And I saw this firsthand because it's very easy to get swallowed up with being just one of millions trying to make it in the business. And like, for instance, in my case, I decided to make my own movie. I think that people have to really prioritize what they want to do. And everybody's path is different. So my path isn't going to be, is completely different from somebody else's. You can't try to duplicate it. So all I can say is, here's another point too, which I think that most actors and actresses don't have regarding a perspective, is you have to have somebody that can really analyze one's skills and one's appeal, because most actors and actresses can't be objective and step outside of themselves and look at themselves and see what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what they're best suited for. And I think it's important to find good people, whether they're agents, casting directors, that can really analyze this. Because if you can really get that deduced, get it to the point where you can know what your strengths are, know what you're best cut out for, that's a huge part of it right there. And you can therefore approach things and maybe go after projects that you know and audition for things in which you'll stand more of a chance in getting somewhere. That's a big thing. I think most people just don't, most actors and actresses don't have this ability to self-analyze. Yeah.
Right, and also, too, encourage and get out there and, pursue and everything. And of course, you could also take in some people as well, too. And, of course, before we let you go as well, too, just want to say you got a great thing going as well. And once again, tell everybody what your upcoming projects are. Tell us about where you can find Dreams of Darkness and what's your website and how can people reach you.
Dreams of Darkness is coming. And it's going to be released on February 11th. And you can see the trailer on YouTube.